want to begin with the new claims that Iran is targeting American troops in Kuwait. The U.S. said today it bombed Iranian radar and drone sites after Tehran shot down an American drone over the weekend. It is the latest test of the very delicate ceasefire, if we can still call it a ceasefire, which Iran is now claiming covers more than just the people inside its borders. Let's bring in CBS News Middle East contributor Courtney Kealy. So, Courtney, break down these new claims for us from both the U.S. and Iran, and what's the impact that they're having on this ceasefire?
Right. So there's a ceasefire in Iran and there's a ceasefire in Lebanon, in pretty much name only at this point. So you had what the U.S. said was defensive strikes in Iran near the southern port, and then Iran said they struck a U.S. Army base or a military base, and we didn't know until Kuwait had the air sirens go off and then said that there had been an attack nearby. No casualties. The U.S. said that they were able to intercept the incoming UAVs, the incoming drones, but it shows that Iran is ready to hit the region again.
So the topics that the president recently edited in this agreement, Courtney, are really interesting. They've been some key sticking points, but I think it's important to remind people when the president launched this war, this is a war of choice that he launched against Iran. He was very clear that Iran could not have any nuclear weapons, so they could no longer continue to enrich uranium. He wanted to, along with Israel, destroy Iran's ballistic missile capability. He also wanted to destroy their navy, their ability to project offensive power anywhere in the region. That hasn't been accomplished. And so now we're talking about what? Removing sanctions so that Iran can actually make money from the sale of their oil. We're talking about Iran still controlling the Strait of Hormuz, which means at any point in time they can choose to close it if they so desire. What's being accomplished here with the president editing this document, which seems to go against the goals that he stated to the American people for the reasons why we went to war in the first place.
Exactly. So here we go, right? We have to acknowledge the fatigue of 3 months into this, hearing about the Strait of Hormuz, hearing about the highly enriched uranium, and all that's at stake. $12 billion out of about $24 billion would be set to be released to the Iranians if these two drafts for the memo of understanding were agreed upon. Now, President Trump is editing his draft more than a week since he received it and agreed to it. And what he's saying to the American people is sit back and relax. But he's also probably playing.
He says everything's going to work out.
Everything's going to work out. Well, it's just not. And we have this conflict where an army base, once again, a military base, attacked in Kuwait. We saw casualties there at the beginning of the war. And we also are looking at Israel moving further into southern Lebanon. And, just to break the ice on this, because it's the morning. Beaufort Castle, a 900-year-old castle, looks like a castle. It sits on one of the highest points in southern Lebanon and looks right into Israel. These are not big borders. You can often see with the naked eye Metula in parts of Israel. And from Metula, you can see parts of southern Lebanon. So this castle, I've actually been to it. And I was there when Israel withdrew their forces and Hezbollah moved in 26 years ago. Prime Minister Netanyahu had then lost an election to Ehud Barak. A year later, Ehud Barak took troops out of southern Lebanon. Mothers said that having Israeli troops there and targeted and killed was their Vietnam. 26 years later, they're back, and Israeli troops are being killed, and they're being killed now in recent weeks. Approximately 24. I'm working on the actual casualty number, but they're being hit by unmanned explosive drones that Hezbollah, which uses guerrilla warfare, it's asymmetrical. They're using night vision, and they're also using a camera person, which they've always done, to show what they're doing. And they used to do this wire-guided missiles.
Meaning they're putting out videos of what they're doing as part of the propaganda?
And they've always done this. They were the first ones to show what they were doing, and so you'd have a cameraman trained in combat along with the Hezbollah operative, and somebody would film it and hold it steady while somebody hit an Israeli tank, and then what you had was video. And so this is what they do. They're willing to sacrifice their lives. Israel's within southern Lebanon, and Iran saying no deal with them there.
Wow.
I love when Courtney joins us because we get the historical context, and then
And
you get this like behind the scenes
right.
detail that I'd never
No one
heard
can else
before.
provide.
Yeah.
And like you said, for some Israelis, this is like going back to Vietnam. So thank you, Courtney,
Thanks,
for all
Courtney,
those
as
details.
always.